What is going on, guys? It's your boy Lando from The Snap coming in with my co-host Mac. As always, we're watching some football in Germany this morning, so we're here live half an hour earlier than normal just to get more time with y'all and we can react to the game. We talk some start sits, getting the details of all the ins and outs. As a reminder, we answer every single question. Toss a like on the video. But first, I got to introduce my co-host, Mac. How you doing, my friend?
Actually feels like we're a little late to the party today with the time change happening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that extra hour of sleep. Feels like 12:30, actually 11:30. So why don't we just split the difference and start just a little earlier today? Currently got the Chiefs and Dolphins game on. A little bit of a snooze fest so far. Dolphins laying an egg. Haven't gone scoreless in the first half in 40 games. Dolphins are on their heels early, so let's see what's going on here. Like if you're a Tyreek Hill owner, you're probably okay so far. If you're a Tua owner, though, it is tough sledding right now.
Yeah, it's the NFL this season is so bizarre. The Dolphins put up 70 on the Broncos, and last week the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, and now they can't get a score here against the Chiefs. But
the NFL, man,
it feels like it's the third quarter and they're already in 4-down territory. It feels like against the Chiefs, you have to get you have to score. You can't just keep punting it away. And
correct.
We'll see what happens here. But either way, Mac, I'm happy. We got some guys already in the chat. Appreciate you, Leon and Franklin, Donnie, Zach, Eric. We'll get to your questions very soon.
Why don't we just switch it up? Why don't we go questions straight till noon, then do news and notes at noon, and then get back into the regular flow?
Yeah, if we got questions right away, these guys in early, we can absolutely get these questions answered. And then when we run out of questions, we'll start talking more football. We can react to the game and get in some news if we want to, for sure.
Just so you know, Tua just missed Jalen Waddle on a go route for what would have been a touchdown, no doubt. Like didn't even see it.
Oh, Michael Wilson's out. Oh, I just saw that news coming in. I did not expect the rookie to be out. I didn't think it was that bad. But anyways, let's get it to Eric's question. Snap Army member Easy Daddy coming in, as always, early.
We got standard scoring, extra points for 40 yards with big plays. Projected to lose, needs the biggest upside. Lockett Dubs or Rashid Shaheed with the speed.
Yeah, I mean, Rashid has got these big chunk plays, and he makes the most of those, but he's still not playing a ton of snaps. I'm going to go look at his game log last week while we're still here.
He has been the big play guy, no doubt.
Yeah.
I just think even though Lockett has the toughest matchup, he's by far the best football player to this trio. So I'm just going to start my stud in a game where the Seahawks should be trailing. That'll be a good matchup, though. 2-5-2 teams, grinding for a win.
Yeah.
I think I like Lockett in a situation where they probably have to throw.
Shaheed was wide receiver 4 last week and only played 27% of snaps. 3 receptions, 3 targets, 3 receptions for 153 yards and a touchdown. That can't happen. Now, I do expect him to play more snaps, Easy. Like grabbing Shaheed off the waivers and just benching him for now, or unless you're desperate, you can play him and hope for that big play. But absolutely, play Lockett. And
we can't be budgeting for 50 a reception.
That's just not possible. Oh, here we go.
And we've got a touchdown. Cedric Wilson Jr.
Wilson. Come on.
21-7. No flags on the play. Touchdown. Tua to Cedric Wilson Jr. Jump ball in the back right corner of the end zone. Let's get to Zach here coming in. Good morning to you as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the sleep. I know I did. Lost Cousins and Stafford. 6-point passing touchdown. This is a super flex league. Picked up Bryce Young. Got Geno, Daniel Smith, Mac Jones, Taylor Heineke, and Zach Wilson all on waivers. Do I make any moves? I think for me, this comes down to who would you be putting these guys in over another player at the super flex position. If you have a very solid team outside of your quarterbacks and you are, say, choosing between Josh Downs in your super flex or Taylor Heineke or Mac Jones or Geno Smith against the Ravens, it might be more of a conversation than you would want to have. Typically, the quarterback does outscore the positional player, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, to me, I think Bryce Young is I like grabbing him, and I think he's a consideration for a start. I would probably start I would keep him on the squad and not pick up one of, Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. Geno Smith is a decent play, but they're playing Baltimore this week. It's a tough matchup. Mac Jones now against Washington, depleted line, but Mac Jones hasn't been good. So I would start Bryce Young over the options that you gave.
Yeah, I would as well. I think for me, I'm between Bryce Young and Taylor Heineke. Those would be the two options that I would consider.
Yeah, he's a scrappy bulldog kind of player. They play Minnesota.
I think the matchup for them out of these quarterbacks is the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, Minnesota has, usually like to pick on them, but they've been kind of sneaky good this year, oddly enough. But I don't think they've really been, they haven't really had a good matchup in quite a while. So
my concerns for Minnesota is with a rookie quarterback, no Justin Jefferson.
True.
Will they be able to move the football?
Yeah, sustaining drives might be difficult for them, which should give Heineke more opportunities. You're right. I agree with that.
That's where I'm at. But yeah, Bryce Young is probably the number one pickup. I would grab him.
Yeah.
If I don't start two QBs, I could start Pittman, Flowers, Henderson, or Kincaid. Standard league with bonuses for big play TDs. So the fact that it's not a PPR, sorry, Zach, I did not see this question going along with yours, but it does speak to kind of what I was getting at. If this was a full PPR league, I could get on board with starting Pittman or Flowers because of the potential volume. But because it's standard, I'm going to say that you just start Bryce Young and you don't look back. You take advantage of the 6 point per touchdown scoring, and you just play the quarterback.
Yeah, very good. You got a good team, Zach. Seems like it might be an 8-team league based on how many quarterbacks are available in a 2-quarterback league, but makes these starts and decisions a lot more difficult because Kincaid looks good too.
He does.
But
Donnie coming through, played Pickens on Thursday, definitely in need of some help. Guy I'm playing has Rice and Waddle. Rice had the first touchdown of the game for anybody that was watching. Waddle hasn't done a ton today, but there's, still quarter and a half of football to play. So anything could happen here. Got to choose between Addison and Myers as a half PPR league. What are you doing here, Lando?
I'm a bit worried about Addison. I need to start him in a league where I don't have better options, but playing Myers coming off a bad game and Addison coming off a phenomenal game feels wrong, but I think I would just stick with Myers because he's been good and better. And don't get me wrong, I mean, he's playing with a backup quarterback as well, Aiden O'Connell, right? So, but I think
they just fired their GM and their head coach.
Yeah, I think I trust Aiden O'Connell more than the backup in Minnesota myself.
I am of no help, Donnie. I'm going to go with Addison. Yeah. You need the points. You need the bigger game. I think Addison's going to give that to you. Like, there is a squeaky wheel there with Jacoby Myers after a really bad game. There's an even squeakier wheel with Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a choice as a not rookie, but a young quarterback who to throw between Myers and Adams, I think I'd just be throwing it 17.
I don't mind that as in an upside play. You're right. The upside play is absolutely there with Addison. We've seen it lots before. He can take 2 receptions and take into the end zone.
To go back to Zach's question, T. Higgins is on waivers. He'd have to drop either Pittman or Flowers to pick him up. Thoughts on that? I would be rostering T. Higgins over likely Michael Pittman would be my drop there. You're going to say Zay Flowers. Yeah. I think they both represent very similar options, though.
Yeah.
They're similar play styles.
Yeah. Zach, I like that kind of league that you're in. Small league with just probably your close friends and also a short bench. Because if it's a deep bench with only say 8 players in it, it's really kind of brutal. So if it's a short bench in a small league, that's a lot of fun.
Yep. Leon and Franklin. Hey guys, I'm back again. With Stafford being out, would you go with Puka or Mike Evans?
I'm going Mike Evans for sure.
I am as well. I don't think that I can trust Brett Rippon to provide the volume that Puka needs. Bucks are in a little bit of a dogfight today. I like the game that they see themselves in. Ooh, looked like a fumble, but it was not.
Yeah, off a helmet looks like almost.
I know, off a helmet. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mike Evans as well. There's a lot of rookie quarterbacks. I think there's like 6 just horrendous quarterback matchups today. It's going to be, I think, a little sloppy from start to finish.
I know it's going to be you're so happy if you have a guy like Mahomes or Herbert or Lamar Jackson right now.
Mm-hmm. Morning, y'all. Thanks for everything you do. Love tuning in. Thanks for coming by. I have to start 2 wide receivers and a running back. What do we think between McLaurin, Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Ramondre, and Aaron Jones? Will Aaron Jones be quote unquote unleashed?
No, probably not.
I'm happy to take this one.
Go ahead.
I do think Aaron Jones is unleashed.
Oh, okay.
So there was something made this week in the media, and I can't remember the exact stat off the top of my head, but when Aaron Jones gets 15 plus touches, the Packers are undefeated since like 2020 or something ridiculous.
Okay.
Now, that's a little bit skewed because it's not the same landscape in Green Bay. You don't have Aaron Rodgers. You don't have Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Jones is 3 to 4 years older. But Aaron Jones has been a focal point this week, and I think he's going to get back to business in a really good matchup. Like, the Packers are at home. They're against the Rams. Rams have been struggling, lost Stafford, don't have Kyron Williams. I just think there's a lot to like for Aaron Jones today. So I'm going to put Aaron Jones out there if I'm you as the running back. And then for your wide receivers, I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. I feel like has to play. They're going to need him in a really tough matchup against the Cowboys. And then I'm going to lean I don't know between McLaurin and Godwin. It's so hard.
I know. I think it's super difficult as well. I'm going to go McLaurin though for myself. So Godwin's good. We love Godwin as a podcast. Max is a huge fan of him. But with Curtis Samuel out today, it feels like this is a good matchup for Terry and the Washington football team or the Commanders. I mean, New England typically takes the number 1 target away. I'm not really that worried, though, with Terry McLaurin.
Full PPR projected to lose by 6. James Cook or Chuba Hubbard at running back. Between the wide receivers, we need 2. Stick with the Myers-Lockett lineup or get Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Michael Gallup, Juju, or Brandon Cooks from free agency. Watson's so polarizing because he has all the tools to be just fantastic, and all you need is 1 touch for him to return that for you. But I just have zero confidence in him or Jordan Love at this point. So, Watson and Doubs are in a similar category together. Ball is out, fumble, Dolphins ball. Dolphins ball. The Miami Dolphins will be just outside the red zone. It is 21-7 with 2 minutes left to go in the third. Huge play here. Huge play.
I thought the defensive lineman did not get that ball for Miami.
Same.
He tried to pick it up. It's like, fall on the ball, guy.
Okay, so Gallup, you can't roster. Juju, please don't roster. Brandon Cooks is the only guy that I would say here. Are you willing to put Brandon Cooks in instead of Jacoby Myers?
I think it's not like maybe in a head-to-head I would do that, but I wouldn't necessarily drop Kobe and pick up Brandon. You know what I mean?
Right. So I think personally, if I was going to want to take a swing for the upside and try to grab a win. I'm just hoping that Jordan Love and Christian Watson hook up once and it's for, 30, 40, 50-yard touchdown, right? Give me a dozen points, and that's
So
that.
when you were talking about all the tools, I agree that Watson has all the tools to do it. The problem is the carpenter is Jordan Love, and
Correct.
you has two left hands, and he just can't get the tools in the holes.
Right.
That's the problem with Christian Watson. He's a
Or
great
like,
player. He's a great player, but I just can't. Not with Jordan Love right now.
yeah, it's a tough one. I really hope that Jacoby has a bounce back week. There's just a lot going on in Las Vegas. They're still projected to win, though, which is crazy. They are a Vegas favorite despite no Jimmy Garoppolo and a new or interim general manager and head coach. It's crazy.
Yeah. And what do you make of Chuba Hubbard named the starter in Carolina?
What's going on with Miles Sanders? That's my question.
I think he's hurt. He's banged up. I don't know. It's very weird. Get paid all that money and then just doesn't do anything. Can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not sure either.
and I'm still fine with James Cook this week as a whole. I know they signed Leonard Fournette, but I don't expect him to be super involved just joining the team. So you can still start James Cook with, as a flex worthy RB2, RB3 option.
I mean, he's not going to know enough of the playbook to be too involved, but if they get to a goal line situation, they're going to probably get him involved. You're not going to start him though.
No.
RG again, different pool at a full PPR projected to lose by 11. Singletary or Freeman at tight end, Ferguson or Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas has been turning heads the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson has also been pretty solid.
Yeah.
I would probably go for the larger scoring game here. So I'm going to probably go for Ferguson.
Same.
And then Singletary, Freeman. I just can't really trust Singletary.
But he's the starter. Pierce is out.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Pierce is inactive today.
Then you got to go Singletary.
You have to go Singletary. I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Rolando, what's up, guys? Start, sit, Keontae Ingram or AJ Dillon. This is a full PPR. I have limited faith that Keontae Ingram will do anything on the ground against the Browns. To be fully transparent, I bet the under of 43.5 rushing yards for Keontae Ingram today.
Right. Now, again, he's the starter by de facto. Everyone's hurt. DeMarcado's out. James Conner's still out. He's going to get the lion's share of the work. But with AJ Dillon, I'm still going to go Keontae Ingram. It's a bad matchup. It's not good. But AJ Dillon, we like Max said, he's got more confidence. He has confidence in Aaron Jones. And AJ Dillon hasn't done anything with the work at the goal line. I don't think he's going to be the goal line back. So, I think you just go with Keontae. Just hope that it's, check down city to Keontae Ingram, and he gets a bunch of receptions.
Mm-hmm. Zach coming through to give us a little bit more context. Stafford could go to the IR. I would definitely say that is the play. There's roster restrictions, though. 2 QBs, 4 running backs, wide receivers, forced to carry 2 defense and kickers. It's the weirdest league I've ever been in. It sounds a little bit weird. But yeah, throw Stafford on that IR and then open up a spot for yourself and get Bryce Young.
Yeah, bizarre, very bizarre.
Cool. Very, very bizarre. We got Armando coming through. We're doing well, thank you. Hurting bad at running back. Charbonnet or Rashawn Johnson for running back 2, or drop one of them for Akers or Keontae Ingram. I would definitely drop Rashawn Johnson for Akers or Ingram. I think either of them, whoever you're kind of feeling.
Right. It's gonna be a duo there in Chicago. Zach Charbonnet, he's super disappointing, but if something happens to Kenneth Walker, he's going to be so good. So you kind of Zach Charbonnet is one of those roster cloggers that he's too good to drop and not good enough to play, unfortunately. So, but Akers and Ingram, Akers is getting way more involved for Minnesota, and it's kind of a mess there in the backfield. They're going to lean on the running game a lot with the backup quarterback. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Ingram, the de facto guy that should get a ton of work, but it's a terrible matchup. So you're not gonna get touchdown opportunities as often for Keontae. Could happen for Akers, but yeah, tough one. I also like Roschon as a talent, but he hasn't proven anything that he deserves to be in that consideration for a starting spot for sure.
No, I agree. Really tough one here from Jose. He's got Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and Mike Evans. Should he swap any of them for Adam Thielen or Nico Collins? I'm going to say Nico Collins is not in consideration here, but Adam Thielen definitely warrants a conversation really quickly. We got Devontae Adams, who's struggling, who's had back-to-back bust weeks for you. Chase and Evans have been pretty fantastic. I know Mike Evans kind of got it done in garbage time the week before, but Devontae Adams or Adam Thielen? Adam Thielen, target count over the last 5 weeks, 11, 13, 13, 8, 14. Receptions of 8, 11, 11, 7, 11. 3 touchdowns in the last 5. He's, I think, wide receiver 3 on the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think the dude just belongs in your lineup. I think I just sit down Devontae Adams and play Adam Thielen.
Which is wild.
I mean, they play the Colts today. The Colts are by no means a shutdown defense. I think this game will be very competitive. I do think that the Colts win, but I think that's good for Adam Thielen. I just don't know how you don't put him in your lineup after the recent performances from the Raiders and from Adam Thielen. It's crazy to say that, but I think that is what we have. Is that a Miami Dolphins touchdown?
We got a game.
We have a game, folks. 21-13, third quarter, 22 seconds left. Baby. Do you agree, Landon, or do you think I'm just a little cray-cray?
No. Well, yes. Both.
I think it's crazy too, but I think it's the right play.
And I agree. That is it's a crazy statement, but I agree that you we're just purely projecting that the pendulum has swung too far for Devontae Adams, and he's going to come back and get 25 targets, and he's going to be back to normal. But that's not a guarantee. Far from a guarantee. You might as well just go with the tried and true guy of Adam Thielen this year and what he's done this year, not what we know Devontae Adams to be for his career.
So in one league, I am sitting Devontae Adams this week for Josh Downs.
And there was an injury designation with Josh Downs. I think he is going to play, but does that worry you a bit?
No.
Okay. So there you go.
Because he, like Adam Thielen, has just been heavily targeted and like a Deontay Johnson possession-like receiver. In a full PPR league, I do love that. Now, I think, we get back to business with Devontae and then I look super silly, but at the end of the day, I'd rather be wrong on my bench than to be right on my starting roster. You know what I mean?
It's completely reasonable to make Devontae Adams prove it to you. Put the name out of it. And correct. If he didn't have that name, you would not be considering him this
right.
week.
It's like it's player A and it's player B. And it's like these are the last 3 games. Yep. These are the matchups. Who are you wanting to go with? I mean, anybody with a brain would say, I'll take the guy averaging double-digit targets a week.
Yeah. And it's not like Devontae Adams is a young guy anymore. No. I know Adam Thielen's old, but they are
who isn't old or experienced?
Who's that?
Aiden O'Connell.
True. Yep.
We got Graham coming through. Start 2 in a full PPR. DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, or Tyler Lockett. Lovely list of receivers here. I think for me personally, Devontae Smith is in.
Yeah.
Now it just comes down to DJ Moore or Tyler Lockett. DJ Moore with Tyson Bagent hasn't been horrific. Tyler Lockett has a really tough matchup today against the Ravens. Who are you leaning between the two?
I don't know. I think that's a really hard one. I think I
I don't
go
know.
I think I go Lockett just because he has a better quarterback.
I would also go Lockett as well.
Yeah.
I think the Bears have a really tough matchup today. I think it's the Saints, correct? I think the Saints just walk all over them.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking for help in the flex position. This is from Justin. Full PPR league, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, or Michael Pittman. Thanks, guys. It's Mike Evans for me, Justin.
Absolutely. I think I would
Cash
go,
coming through.
yeah, Evans, Pittman, Moore. I love DJ Moore, but he's just,
So do I.
it's frustrating.
Without the dual threat of Justin Fields, the defense has the ability to just kind of sit back in coverage and take away DJ Moore a little bit.
Totally.
If
Absolutely.
they
Like,
had
who else are you
if they
gonna?
had a bigger running threat, I think it'd be a different story. But
Yeah. Who
unless
else are
DJ
you?
Moore's taking swing passes or screens,
Yep.
I don't see a world where he has the same ceiling as if he does with Justin Fields.
Who else are you gonna game plan for?
Right.
You
Cole Kmet.
exactly. You make
Right.
you make DJ Moore, or you cover DJ Moore and make them beat you other ways.
We'll get the last one here before we do news and notes. This is from Akash. Hey guys, start one, sit one. Nico Collins or Garrett Wilson?
Start Garrett Wilson Monday
Yeah.
night. Put him in your flex. Should be a good, fun game. The Chargers give up a ton to everyone, so just it's gonna be good for Garrett Wilson.
I think it's going to be a really good matchup, though, because the Chargers defense has the tendency to give it up, whereas the Jets defense has the tendency to shut it down.
Sure. Yeah.
So, it could really work in Garrett Wilson's favor. I think this game will actually be pretty close. The problem with Nico Collins for me is we got lured into a false sense of security at the beginning of the year where he came out of the gate 11, 9, 3, 9 targets, 80, 146, 34, 168. He went boom, 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 multiple touchdowns. And then we get to the last three, 4 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets. Snap count is down and hasn't had over 40 yards in 2 of the last 3. So the offense has fallen a little bit. CJ Stroud has come down to earth a little bit. Carolina last week showed them why a good secondary will give CJ Stroud issues. And today is, it's a little bit better game for them, but I just don't see the same ceiling as we saw in the beginning of the year. That's all I'm trying to say with Nico Collins. Whereas Garrett Wilson, it's Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Hey, could be a lot of garbage time too. We do expect the Chargers to score points despite the elite offense or defense that is the Jets. So lots of opportunities for the Jets to be in the negative game script.
Unnecessary Chris Jones penalty led to a Mostert TD for my opponent.
You hate to see that, Alex.
Alex, that's horrendous. Currently have Bijan in the flex, Garrett Wilson, and Thielen starting wide receivers for me. Yeah, okay. I like that. That a lot.
Yep. It's just always, unless you have like if you're starting a running back in the flex, that's fine. But if you have, 2 wide receivers starting, one of which is playing in a different time on Sunday, you just swap them out. Even if they're not this good player, you just put the guy on Monday in your flex spot, just as a rule of thumb.
All right, time to get down to the news and notes, Lando. What's the one thing you want to report first?
So the big thing is going to be, I think personally, Stafford out and how that will impact Puka and or Cup. You're going to start Cup, obviously you have to, but Puka Nacua is now a consideration for a bench spot. I'll give you some names around Puka and see if I'm going to see what your thoughts are around him. Let me just find Mr. Puka Nacua. It's P-U-K, right? Okay, here we go. Yeah. So Gabe Davis, Cincinnati, or Puka?
I'll play Gabe.
Jacoby?
Puka.
Tyler Lockett.
Lock it.
And Josh Downs, who you've mentioned before.
Downs if he plays today.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
What about like Demario Douglas, who was a popular ad this week? So I just want to give people an idea of what kind of confidence we have in Puka Nacua. Obviously, a really great talent. Plays Green Bay. Should be a good matchup for the Rams, truly. But I know they don't give as much up to the receiver. But Green Bay is dumpster fire.
Green Bay is flaming trash.
Okay, so that was
tough. It's tough out here.
Yeah.
All right. Lots of quarterback injuries today. If anybody's running to the waiver wires to replace with one of the rookies or backups, who would you be going to first? Who is your first call to replace your starting quarterback?
Heineke, number one. I think Heineke, he's a wily vet. He's a gunslinger. I think he can run the football. He can do everything. I think he is my number one backup ad for these guys.
Agreed. I 100% agree. Not even a question for me. Let's go through some big outs today. We know that Darren Waller is out. He's been placed on the injured reserve. He'll be out for the next 4 games. We know that Josh Palmer is out for Monday Night Football. So maybe Quentin Johnston is a nice speculative ad for you. We also know that Amari DiMarcado is out for week 9. That boosts the Keontae Ingram, even though tough matchup here against the Browns. We know Curtis Samuel is out, and another big one, Drake London was ruled out earlier this week for the game today against the Vikings. We're really going to have to see an elevated workload from Mr. Kyle Pitts and hopefully Bijan Robinson as well.
Is there anyone else? Is there a wide receiver for the Falcons that you would start right now?
No,
I agree.
Deshaun Watson will start today. That was the other one they wanted to come to.
Right.
And you brought this up earlier, but Dameon Pierce, Robert Woods expected to miss.
Yeah. I do think that's a good upgrade for Amari Cooper. I think I have more confidence now with Amari Cooper, kind of going back to where he was. He should be easily in the top 20 wide receivers this week. Starting him over DJ Moore, the Pukas of the world, Jacobys of the world. You need to start your Amari Coopers if you have them. If you don't, you can start them against Arizona with Deshaun Watson. When can you start him?
Fair. Very, very fair. Oh, man. All right, let's get to some questions here. Ken Walker or Kareem Hunt or Chuba Hubbard this week? I don't think there's any money in the world that makes me stay away from Ken Walker.
Yeah, and I saw that he was a super popular question this week. That's why I put him in the thumbnail and in the title of our show. But I think even after a bad week, Rupesh here, I think you need to stick with Ken Walker at Baltimore. And I think he has a really good chance of getting in the end zone. It should be a good game. Baltimore is legit, but Seattle has enough talent around them to move the football. DK Metcalf starting, Tyler Lockett. We do see JSN now kind of coming into his own, starting to heal from that
second half, man. Second half of the year, rookies tend to make that push.
And we forget that he had that thumb injury early on. Like he had a broken thumb, didn't he? Or dislocated. Either way, he did play. He was ready for week 1, but he's still coming back from that injury. So
he missed a ton of training camp.
Yeah. So we had him as one of the top rookie wide receivers in this class, and I think now, like you said, Mac, he's going to start really coming into his own in the second half of the season. So I do think the Seattle Seahawks can keep up to the Ravens, even though the good defense. So start Ken Walker, my guy. Thanks for coming in.
Happy Sunday from Sleek. Full PPR pick 2 between Godwin, Gus Bus, and Puka Nacua.
Gus Bus had a huge game last week.
Yeah, massive.
It's hard to sit him after that game.
Yeah, the full PPR does lean into the volume that Godwin and Nakua do see. Now,
Yeah, Godwin, I think, is a must play, right?
yeah, Godwin's in for me for sure. I think if you want to lean on a repeat performance from Gus Edwards, you maybe go that way. I think Nakua is definitely interesting, and if Stafford was the starter, I think I would undoubtedly go with Nakua. But
Yeah.
given the fact that it's Brett Rippon at quarterback and not Matt Stafford, it makes me second guess the volume or consistent targets that Nakua will see. So I'm okay with Godwin, Gus, Bus. Yeah, let's go with that. Godwin,
Yeah,
Gus.
that's where I lean. It just gives you so much risk involved starting Puka. I love him as a talent, don't get me wrong, but like it's high risk starting him
Yeah.
this week with a backup quarterback.
Should I drop Jeff Wilson Jr. after this game for Khalil Shakir in a full PPR? Him or also Quentin Johnson dropped earlier this weekend. It can be claimed tomorrow morning. This is more of a stash move, and I wouldn't start him.
Yeah, you can drop Jeff Wilson. Alex, I love the drop after they play.
Gamesmanship.
You know,
Yeah.
just playing the game of fantasy. Grab all the backup running backs. Wait till this game is over, though. Like
Yeah.
they're on bye next week too. So if something happens to Raheem Mostert and he gets an ankle injury or something, and then you see Jeff Wilson get the work. But
when is Devon Achane eligible to return? Because that is
after their bye week, so he
okay.
should be back in 2 weeks.
Week 11.
Yeah,
right. I would personally pick up Quentin Johnston.
Yeah,
but given that you could essentially drop Shakir after tonight's game, why don't you just pick up Shakir and then put the claim in later tonight? Drop Shakir, pick up Johnston.
That's
if Shakir pops again, then you don't do it. Oh, Raheem Mostert just fumbled. I believe it is still Dolphins ball though.
Yeah, let's get Miami to score here. Then you hit the over, Mac, and then I have a bunch of yard overs. So this
I need Tyreek for 100, and he's got a little bit of work to do.
I think I took a measly 50 yards or 40 yards for Tyreek.
Is he still sitting at 39?
I don't know, but I can check.
If I just expand my zone here, I'll be able to see it. Tyreek Hill 6 for 46. So
okay.
we're
I'm
just
almost
one
there,
big play away.
Yep.
It's all good.
Well, that's it. That's the thing with Tyreek, right? Is that he can do it in one play.
Keep getting confused this game when Cedric Wilson Jr. makes a catch versus Jeff Wilson Jr.
I know.
A little bit different stature, but yeah, I get it.
I get it. Yeah. You see a Wilson on the back of their jersey. And what numbers? Jeff is like 23?
20, no, Salvin Ahmed's 26. 23, I think, Jeff Wilson?
Yeah, I think so too.
23 and 11?
Yeah.
All right, Gator fan. Start 2 in a full PPR. Tank Dell, Jahan Dotson, Puka Nacua, Gabe Davis.
So, Gator fan, I think you have to start Gabe. He's one of those guys that he can have a bust game or he can have a massive game. And it's so hard to pick and choose when he's going to have a massive game. So I think you have to play him week in and week out, take the good and the bad. That's what comes along with drafting Gabe Davis.
Agreed. With Dell and Dotson on the table, I think Puka you can sit for some uncertainties at quarterback. Tank Dell coming back. We know what he represents: downfield, big playability, the opposite of Jahan Dotson. So we haven't seen the volume like we would have expected this year. Like Jahan Dotson was widely regarded as everyone's kind of breakout candidate for this year, and it really hasn't come to fruition so far.
Until last week, where he had the 8 for 108 and a touchdown. He finally had his game. So that was going to be the last point that I made. I think given that it's a full PPR, I lean the Dotson side over Tank Dell. You're going to be hoping for consistency with targets as opposed to efficiency with big plays out of Tank Dell. So I personally go with Dotson, but it's definitely close between him and Tank Dell. But Dotson Davis, I think, is the play. Yeah, and with Curtis Samuel out this week, I think that's
also helpful.
Has the floor a little higher for Dotson.
Claire coming through, 12-team half PPR. Close matchup, got Olave, DJ Moore, Puka, and Chris Godwin. All of them give me something to be anxious about.
I feel
we have to sit one from this group, and I think I think this is where I have the line of I just sit Puka down and I play DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I know that Tyson Bagent is at least competent. I know that he can get it to number 2. How many times or for how big of a play, that I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if Brett Rippon can deliver the ball consistently to Puka Nacua.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Claire was from the area, that LA area, so I know it might hurt to you thought you had a guy, a breakout star in Puka, but yeah, I agree with you, Max. Sit him down.
Another one for Claire, 10-team half PPR. Gabe Davis, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett in the flex. Currently projected to win by 9 thanks to Deontay, but my opponent has some players who can boom. So we kind of need a bit of a safety play.
I like the contact. So I've talked about Gabe Davis and his boom bust potential, but you have Godwin and Lockett that just soak up a ton of targets.
This one's definitely closer than I'd like to admit. You lean anybody between Godwin and Lockett? I know that you love Lockett. I love Godwin. Seems like there's going to be a split here.
Yeah, I think because of the bad matchup for Tyler Lockett, I think that's where you could go to Godwin. Who do they play again? They play
So the Buccaneers play the Texans.
Houston. Yeah, great matchup. Should be a get right game for Baker.
Yeah,
and company.
that's kind of where I'm at. I think they're both. They have wide receiver 2 upside this week. I think they're probably likely wide receiver 3s. I would probably lean Godwin for a better matchup.
Yeah, go Godwin, I think.
Yeah, go Godwin.
Right. Here we go. Some
Waddle
yards.
into Chiefs territory, down 7, 8.5 to go. We could see a tie game here with a successful drive from the Dolphins. Nice to see them get it going a little bit here.
So Travis Kelce of my parlay is the only one that I had him for 50 plus yards, and he's been super quiet.
2 for 7 still?
I think so. I haven't seen him. So yeah, but now that Miami's going to score, that should be good for game script for Kansas City, and they should be able to get back into kind of game mode here.
We still need the Dolphins to come out and do something here. Tyreek gets the ball off of the edge, picks up what looks to be about 4.
Nice.
And it'll be 2nd and 6. Stewart from across the pond. Hope you've had a good week. We have 2 out of the 3 in a full PPR. Got an even matchup going. Nico Collins, Devontae Smith, Gabe Davis. I will go Smith and Davis.
So what is with all the Nico Collins love?
I tried to outline it, man. We got lulled into that false sense of security. We thought we had a superstar, and he's just disappointed 2 of the last 3.
Yeah.
There's still hope, though.
He must have had a good game this past week. He must have, right?
He did not.
He did not.
I think it was 4 for 30.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, no, yeah, I had to vet that because I don't know why, and I'm I know ranking sites have Nico Collins pretty high. I just don't really
hasn't scored a touchdown in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have Devonta Smith, who's a stud, and Gabe Davis, who just had a massive game. Exactly.
And we get to see a wonderful Sunday night football game tonight between the Bills and the Bengals. Like, what more could you really want?
Correct. They
should have to throw the potential, AFC playoff game.
Yeah.
Waiting in the wings here. Got Tua to Tyreek Hill over the middle for a first down. Oh, Dolphins are marching.
Let's get some overtime this morning, Mac.
God, that would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Hurting bad at running back for Armando.
We had this one already. Yep.
Yeah, we got this one. Oh, yep. He said below. Whoops, my bad. We got it. We got you, Armando. It's all good. But yeah, I think we said drop Rashawn Johnson and pick up either Akers or Ingram. I think I would rather Akers. Landon would rather Ingram.
Yep.
We've got Henderson, Dotson, Gabe Davis in a full PPR start 1. I would go with Gabe.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
If you're like a if you're like a resounding favorite and you just need some safety, you go with Dotson.
Yeah, but like, listen, guys, when you're trusting a quarterback here, let's just put our faith in Josh Allen. Like,
Yeah.
you'd rather watch that than have to watch Sam Howell try to get. I know we looked great against Philadelphia. They seem to get up and get out of bed with a pep in their step against Philadelphia, but New England and Bill Belichick, they know how to game plan. I mean, they can make Sam Howell look foolish.
Mm-hmm. Gator fan said, messed up the question. Should have said sit one. Dell, Dotson, Nakua, and Davis. So we said Dotson and Davis. Who would you sit between Dell and Puka Nakua?
I would probably say Tank Dell.
Yeah, that's fine with me. What's our opinion on stacking? If I have the opportunity to trade Diggs and maybe something minor for Brown as a Hurts owner, do you think it's worth it?
Usually, those lateral trades I tend to stay away from, Alex. You have Diggs on your team. He's a very good player. I know. So is AJ Brown. I get it, but I just usually, as a rule of thumb, stick to the guy you have.
Years ago, we did some data analysis on stacking and if it was worthwhile or not. And the takeaway was that in a small percentage of situations, it was advantageous, but for the majority of pairings, it was not something that you should seek out in your drafts. So I do get the allure of stacking AJ Brown, who's been unbelievable over the last 6 games, with a guy like Jalen Hurts. The only problem that you do get into is that you gain exposure to a game. And if you're in a game where, the Eagles have a heavy run script or Jalen Hurts is, sneaking balls in, that doesn't afford the upside for AJ Brown. Whereas, Jalen Hurts and Stephon Diggs are two independent assets and can both have great weeks independent of each other. So I think I would just stick with Diggs. It's not like you are trading up. Let's just say a couple weeks ago, you're not trading up an overperforming Puka Nakua and another piece to go get AJ Brown. You are trading a stud for another stud. So
Yeah,
I would probably stay away.
And the fact that Jalen Hurts, like you said, Mac, just rushes in so many touchdowns on his own. So that's just, you can just go for that. Just cheer for that. And if he throws it,
Right.
if he throws anyone a touchdown, you're happy. It doesn't need to be AJ Brown. You're just happy it's a touchdown.
Correct. All caught up. So the Dolphins go empty.
Yeah.
They pick up a penalty and then they get sacked and they're facing 3rd and 26 and ball just gets punted away. So the Chiefs right now, with about 4 or so minutes left on the clock, have the ball inside their own 10. Likely going to try to put the ball on the ground and chip some time away. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I'd love to see the Dolphins get the ball back and get another crack at
Me too.
tying this game. Trevor coming through here. 2 questions. Deshaun or Mac Jones, and Tank Dell or Demario Douglas.
Deshaun Watson. Does he finish the game?
Can you start Mac Jones?
I don't want to. Is this a 2 quarterback league, Trevor? I hope it's a super flex league, because I would consider flexing other players than both those quarterbacks.
Sure. I'm going to go Deshaun and Tank Dell.
Yeah. I mean, if you could also
Mario Douglas stack or
legit go the opposite and go Mac and Douglas stack for sure. Yeah, it's a 2 quarterback league. Thank goodness, Trevor.
So Trevor, outside of Deshaun and Mac Jones, who else would you be putting in your super flex position? Because I think that makes a difference. Like if it's a full PPR league and you can start Deshaun or Mac Jones or like I said earlier, like Josh Downs, I think I might just go Josh Downs.
Well, would you start Tank and Demario? I guess is a good question.
No.
Okay. So it's funny. We had a question from Alex right above this and how you think the pecking order is in Houston. Like, I still think it's Nico Collins that leads that receiving core, but I think Tank Dell is very talented as well, and I think he can have big performances. It's just very difficult to project which one actually it's going to be. So we could rank them both at wide receiver 25 and almost hedge and think, okay, one of those is going to be a top 24 running or wide receiver, but which one is it going to be? That's hard to say. So that's kind of why we've been kind of getting away from Nico more often than not when we're getting questions about it.
I do think it is Nico Collins first, Tank Dell second, Robert Woods third.
Yeah, with Robert Woods being out this week.
And I'd probably actually put Dalton Schultz ahead of Robert Woods. So if we want to include tight ends as receiving options, I put him third.
So do you think, like, what's your probability that Deshaun Watson finishes this game? He's got a rotator cuff injury. He sounds like he's going to play, but like, do you think it's a really nice matchup? If you're going to come back against one team, it's going to be Arizona.
It's a really nice matchup.
Yeah.
I think this is a tough question. Like, should he just roll out Deshaun and hope he can be? I think Deshaun is more productive than Mac Jones. Like, Mac Jones has been awful, like a borderline liability for your starting roster. I don't know. It's really tough. Like, he's saying, or sorry, this is not Trevor. Got a lot of injuries and buys. Yeah, like, I think I just played Deshaun, but are you gonna play Demario Douglas over him? No. If it was like Tank Dell or Nico Collins, like, I would just play them both and sit down one of those bad quarterbacks. But I probably just play Deshaun.
Yeah. Oh, and he throws it out of bounds. Love this.
So we got Y2J, running back 2, Moss or Chuba. I'm gonna go with Chuba.
Yeah. So I mean, Moss has been really good.
You can see the changing at the guard, though, with opportunities. Like, Zach Moss is now making the most of limited opportunities as opposed to having a ton of opportunities in the beginning of the year and being a fantasy stud. Like, he's now working on efficiency. I don't think that continues. Let's just say.
Yeah, I want to think you're correct as well. It's just, man, it's one of those things, like, maybe just you can start both Colts running backs week in and week out. They're both top 20 guys.
Yeah, maybe. Are you benching Puka Nacua for Tyler Lockett?
Yes.
I am as well.
Lots of Puka questions. We should have had Puka in the thumbnail.
No kidding. Start Moss or Ken Walker? I will start Ken Walker.
Ken Walker. Yeah, and I hopefully you're new and smash that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you're here as well. I do have a good amount of confidence, even in a tough matchup for Ken Walker. I think he gets in the end zone. Seattle's offense is good enough to move the ball against anyone, in my opinion. And start your Seahawks, even though it's a bad matchup.
So Trevor's also saying he's got Madison and Akers. I would start Deshaun over Madison and Akers. But it's, yeah.
Yeah,
I would be afraid. I get it.
Those running backs in Minnesota are tough. We see Akers get more and more work. Madison is the lead back, but not by much.
Sam Howell against New England or Deshaun Watson against Arizona? We're living in a gross time here.
I think I'm gonna go Sam Howell.
I think I will as well. There are concerns with Deshaun Watson, so yeah, let's go with Sam. Sam's been good for fantasy purposes. QB1 on the year, top 12.
Yeah.
Mac Jones or CJ Stroud? I'll go CJ Stroud.
Yes, me too, Merle. Thanks for coming by. I haven't seen your name before, so toss a like, smash that subscribe button. Appreciate y'all for coming in.
Gonna roll with your calls. Good luck, Y2.
Yeah, good luck. Some tough ones there. So it's razor thin.
Do we think Miles Sanders or Dameon Pierce will have any positive regression this year? Miles Sanders is in a really tough position.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders is borderline droppable. Yeah. He's on a bad team, has a younger player behind him performing really, really well. Mm-hmm. And despite him getting paid, I think the Panthers know that they just need the best player on the field. They're not in a position to win, so they have no. Um, it's a tough spot for Miles Sanders. I feel for that guy and that team, but Pierce, I think if he's healthy, he can be okay rest of season. He's been disappointing as well.
Been very disappointing, and for me, with him, like his one aspect last year, other than a lot of volume, was he was still getting some receptions, and it's been now back-to-back games, no targets in the receiving game, still cresting double-digit touches on the ground, but hasn't gotten to the end zone in a month, has only scored 1 touchdown on the year. The Texans have been doing better as a team, but it hasn't been because of their run game. It's because CJ Stroud has arm talent and they're finally moving the ball through the air. So, you loved Dameon Pierce last year because he was the only option and he was used in all facets of the game. Now that's just not the case. He's not the primary focus of the offense. So I don't have much hope for Dameon Pierce, and Miles Sanders I have, huge concerns with so far.
Yeah. I mean, they're both interesting players because they're both with like the top quarterback draft picks, right?
Sure.
And, I thought Sanders is beneficial, both of them, like they should be good at pass protecting. They've been in the league long enough that they should be able to, in shotgun position, stand back and pass protect for those quarterbacks and then, get out, chip a D lineman or chip someone or linebacker and then go into the flat and get receptions. But it just hasn't been the case, like Max said. And they're both in trouble. I prefer Pierce, but it's a tough scenario for both guys. But both those quarterbacks look great. If you're a Panthers fan or a Texans fan, Stroud and Young both look legit. They look like the future of their franchise.
Agreed.
Oh, Mostert getting some work.
Picking up some big chunk yardage. Minute 50 left. Lex plants some trees. Stroud or Howell this week? I'll go Stroud.
Yeah. I think it's close. I don't blame you for going Stroud at all. I think I go Howell by a hair.
Okay. Rolling with Hurts, Bijan, Chuba, Keenan, Lockett, Hawkinson, Moss at flex. Don't trust Jacoby enough. I agree with that.
Sure. Yep. And like we said earlier, squeaky wheel for some really bad decision making from Tua. He had a guy and he just did not pull the trigger. He had him and almost threw an interception. Catch this? Yeah, hopefully he didn't. It's a better one if he just didn't catch it, right?
He did not.
He did not.
Okay.
I thought it was almost an interception.
Yeah. See, this is where I'd like to see them just get the ball on like a quick slant. Like you're 30 yards from the end zone. You're not taking shots at the end zone yet. You think you'd like to, but
you have enough time and timeouts right up the seam even. Like just get a guy up the seam and just
But he's got Waddle. Oh, and that's a flag.
No flag.
No flag. Looked like there was some contact on Waddle's backside at the top of his route, but
if it was more catchable, maybe it would have. If he would have thrown a better ball, it could have been pass interference.
Waddle had him clear on the outside.
Yeah, I think I
was looking at 4 down territory. This is where you just need to pick a 5.
Yep, because it's obvious. Yeah, like you said, 4 down. You have to go for it. So.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a run play there on 2nd down,
Yeah, and they've been playing well, giving it up. Okay, there. Whoa, that was bad. He had him. What was that?
We can't be kicking a field goal here.
No. That would be crazy. We rely on an onside kick.
Well, they have 2 timeouts, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing of if you kick the field goal, punt it deep, and then try to stop. Like if you turn it over, you still have to.
It's one thing if they're down by 10 points, but they're only down by 7. They just need to touchdown to
Clock.
force overtime.
They're going to call it delay a game.
No, timeout.
Okay.
The
Could
coach
be a
was
costly
like,
timeout, though.
it absolutely could be. Absolutely, it could be. But they get a, yeah. But so that just means that if they do get the first down, that they have to just take end zone attempts moving forward. So they can't keep it in play underneath routes. It needs to be shots at the end zone. That pass that Tua made, it was a floater that wasn't.
I don't
any
know if it
close
got
to
tipped or if he
That's
just.
what I was just gonna ask you. Like, could that have been tipped?
I don't know if he was expecting Wilson to stop and have like a jump ball situation, or because he just kept going to the end zone.
Yeah. Or that might be it. It might have been a read play where the receiver had a chance to go deep or come back for it.
Like, you just got to find a way to get Tyreek Hill open.
Yeah.
I
Get him the football.
I don't really.
Or Waddle. Either one of those guys. Don't give it to Cedric Wilson. You're gonna be crazy. Oh my gosh.
Bad snap.
My gosh.
Fraudulent. The Dolphins are fraudulent.
What a way to lose. Like, that's embarrassing.
I'd be so upset if I was a Dolphins fan.
Oh my gosh.
You lose the game on a bad snap.
Yeah. Like, was he just not looking at it? Or what's this? Oh yeah. Was it off his hands?
Yeah, but it was like outside of his frame. Like,
right.
It was on to his right arm, basically.
He still could have got it.
And that's game, folks.
Brutal. What a way to finish. So, I mean, you're probably disappointed. I mean, everyone as a Tyreek owner expects big things from him, especially in a revenge game. Waddle, you're disappointed. Tua, you're disappointed. Raheem,
I think you're the most disappointed.
Yeah.
193 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, at least Tyreek had 8 receptions.
8 for 62 and a fumble.
Travis Kelce, 3 for 14.
Yeah, bust game for Travis Kelce.
Busted my parlay. That's kind of 2 games in a row, but like only 6 receptions for 58 yards last week. Fine for a tight end, but this week it's bad.
Yeah.
But again, if you're playing against Tyreek, you are absolutely thrilled. So he's one of those guys that could lose you the week by himself. And Mac, if you're trading for a tight end right now, are you just trying to trade for Kelce after this game and they're going on bye next week? Or are you trying to get a guy like Laporta who might be their second tight end? Or is there another guy that or Andrews is hard to get anywhere, but is there a guy that you are targeting if you're in need?
Kincaid is probably.
Yeah, because he's probably someone's second tight end as well, right?
Yeah.
Laporta, Kincaid. It's the year of the rookie tight end.
It is. No, they've been fantastic. Like Musgrave, I was talking to a friend. Musgrave has all the tools, just like Christian Watson, like high draft capital, very athletic. They're in need of a good tight end. And it's like, no, it just comes back to Jordan Love. It's the Jordan Love problem.
Imagine if they had like a really good Hall of Fame quarterback behind center, how good they'd be.
Interesting.
Hard to fathom. But
honestly, though, if you're Devontae Adams, like you just have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I gave up playing with Aaron Rodgers for this.
He wanted to leave. Rodgers.
I just want to play with my guy Derek Carr and play for my hometown team. It's like, was it worth it though?
If Adams was still there, so would Aaron Rodgers. And
correct.
His team would be winning the North just like any other year. I mean, be tougher against the Lions this year, but they'd be both playoff teams.
No doubt. Kicks coming through Henderson or Jerome Ford today at running back. This may win ugliest question of the day.
The Ford injury still concerns me a bit. If I'm going to start one Cleveland running back, it's probably going to be Kareem Hunt. But it's not a slam dunk. They play Arizona. It's a great matchup. If Ford is truly healthy, I think he still leads that running back room. But he's battling through a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains, man, are so interesting. You either miss 4 weeks and go on IR, or you play the next game and you're fine.
I would play Darrell Henderson because Green Bay just still cannot stop the run.
Right.
Doesn't matter how many linebackers we draft year over year in the first round, they just can't stop the run.
I saw Walker's out for
Quay Walker is out.
Yeah, Quay Walker. So that's Henderson. And I mean, I know the LA backfield is kind of weird too with Royce Freeman, but it's kind of you've got Henderson and Royce, and you have Ford and Hunt. Like, it's not a great. Like, my game's laughing that we call his question the ugliest of the day, but it's not a great scenario. I tend to agree. Just go Henderson. It's a better matchup for Ford and company, but his injury just concerns me a bit.
I just want to vet my. Green Bay is 26th against the run, averaging 132 a week.
Alex, that is some sharp fantasy football playing. Dropping Jeff Wilson, they're on bye next week, so if you wanted to add him for free next week, you can do that. But like I mentioned, Achan's back after their bye, so Jeff Wilson is now even lesser of an asset for you. So Shakir, and then wait until that game is done, and then just drop Shakir if you're not going to start him and he doesn't have a good game. If he has a good game, you can keep him. That's no problem. But then had a
great one last week. See if he can run it back though.
Yeah, exactly. And then if something happens to a wide receiver in Buffalo, somebody goes down, hope, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, but then you have just a better asset. So good plan, Alex.
Heck yeah.
So Mac, any questions for yourself since we have a lull in the questions on start sits?
Man, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. DeAndre Swift against Dallas. Dallas is currently the best against the run. I can play him or Aaron Jones. That's probably where I'm at. I got a tough tight end question or decision, I should say. Musgrave, Higbee, Everett, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith against Minnesota is interesting.
Yeah. I'm playing a dangerous game where I don't have a kicker currently because I've got two defenses. I've got Cleveland and New York, and I have no kicker spot. So I need to figure out, I don't want to play the Jets. I've got Cleveland obviously starting against Arizona.
Right.
I don't really want to drop the New York Jets defense because they play the Vegas Raiders next week. So I'm in a tough spot here. I need to.
Here's a tough one for you.
Okay.
Devontae Adams or Joe Mixon in the flex?
Probably. The answer I give you is going to be wrong.
Okay, Mike Evans or Devontae Adams?
Mike Evans.
I think the play is just Joe Mixon, but
I think you're right.
I'm just gonna hedge it and go Mike Evans.
I was gonna go Mixon over
Devontae out, Evans in.
Yeah.
It'll be wrong, but that's okay.
Yep. But I have a bad feeling that I've got some players that are not starting in my lineups because I have too many football teams here.
Way too many teams.
Oh gosh, what a bad start. Waddle for 6.9, Butker for 3. Golly, I should be crushing this matchup, but I'm favored to split. Oh, and he had Mostert too. What a brutal start. Man, this team is so good. I've got Chase, Waddle, Metcalf, Amon-Ra, and I'm just, man, oh man. But all right, Mac.
Ryan Thames. Am I crazy? That is a loaded question.
Here we go, Rye.
Looking to
First
get
question, yeah.
30-point premium on trading Hurts in a Superflex dynasty. I have Stroud and trying to get younger and stronger. Picked up running back Robinson from ETL and Bijan and Ajin. Would you trade Hurts in an even trade? No, I wouldn't, because in a dynasty league, you are, as a rebuilding team, going to be trading with a contending team. And the desperation for them to win the league needs to outweigh your need to rebuild. So you're just like, hey man, look, like Jalen Hurts is only, what is he, 25, 26?
Yeah, really young.
Let me just
Young
pop that
enough.
up real quick. 25. Jalen Hurts is 25. You realistically have him on your dynasty team for the next 6 to 10 years. Like, you're fine. You don't need to trade Jalen Hurts. If someone wants to overpay for Jalen Hurts to win a championship, that is where you say, okay, I will pass that to you. I will take your draft picks. I will take your younger players who haven't developed yet, and I will just build a team that's going to dominate for the future. So I think by all accounts, you just hold on to Jalen Hurts until the package for him gets to a point where you just can't say no.
Trying to get a quarterback like Jalen Hurts in any league, especially dynasty, is so hard to do.
But
yes,
Superflex is even harder.
Exactly. Absolutely. He's a positional advantage in Superflex leagues. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I would, I agree with Matt 100%. Make them overpay. If it's a trade you cannot turn down, make that happen. But like getting Bryce Young and, Anthony Richardson, yeah, that's all good and fine. But if they turn out to be very average at best for fantasy, then you just lose that trade.
For the record, if Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young got dropped on my doorstep, I would take the trade.
Both of them
Yeah. Because I think they're both going to be
good long term. Yeah.
Hawkinson or Kincaid this week. Okay, now we've got a question.
So the risk level for Hawkinson is higher with the backup quarterback. Now with backups, they tend to favor the tight end closer to the line of scrimmage, kind of a safety blanket. We know that Hawkinson is that. Unfortunately, Addison, being a smaller downfield target, is going to be a little bit harder to rely on. But Kincaid has been very good, and is the only guy there in Buffalo. So I tend to lean Kincaid here, Mac. Am I crazy for that?
I just wanted to vet something real quick. Do we know if it's a PPR or half PPR South? I'm going to assume half PPR for right now.
Yeah, assume half for sure. In a good game script against Cincinnati, where there should be a lot of points being scored, it's a full PPR league. Does that make it closer on either side for you?
So let's just see. Atlanta. Why can I not find Atlanta?
Giving up what to the tight end? I assume they're probably a good matchup against tight ends, and in most scenarios, you're just going to start Hawkinson with no question. But there's risk level now here. If Kirk Cousins was playing, you would be starting TJ Hawkinson.
Oh yeah, they are right in the middle of the pack here. In a half PPR, giving up 6.5 to opposing tight ends in a full just under 9. So, like, I think TJ is probably their primary receiver. Dalton Kincaid, in my mind, is, likely going to have to get you in the end zone to keep up with TJ Hawkinson. So, if you think that he can find his way to, the paint, then yeah, you roll Dalton Kincaid. But I think the safer play is with TJ. I think the volume is just going to be there for him, plain and simple. He's a guy that just wins routes and finds spaces in zones and, presents himself as just an every down target. So I like TJ. I'm going to go with someone who gets more possession, full PPR that really, pushes me towards TJ. If it was a standard or a half, I might go Kincaid, but full PPR is Hawkinson for me.
It's hard to make a bad decision. It's whoever gets in the end zone is like Max said, is probably going to be the correct choice. They're both top 4 or 5 options this week at that tight end position. It should be good.
Yeah.
Do you like Goddard over Jake Ferguson, Mac?
Goddard. Yeah, I like Goddard over Jay Ferg.
Okay.
Jay Ferg. I gotta put together another quick bet here as my over 39.5 did not pull.
Man, yeah.
The over-under was 51.5. I teased it down to 39.5, thinking that this was a layup. And just when you think you have things figured out, it just nope.
Yeah. Maybe this.
I'm going Browns by 6.5. I'm going Saints by 6.5.
Because the spread is 13.5.
Yeah. And I'm going to toss in. Who's the other one I had in that initial bet?
Oh, I can find out for you here if you want.
I think I had the Falcons. Falcons over Vikings money line.
Okay.
I think.
There's not actually this Bills-Bengals game might be a nice one to look at prop. All passing for Joe Burrow over 225. All passing for Josh Allen, 225. We have Joe Mixon rushing yards, 62.5 is the over-under.
Gonna add one more here. So I've got Browns by 6.5, Saints by 6.5, Falcons by 2.5. Who else do you like?
This week is exceptionally difficult for.
It is. It is. These ones right here feel like they are good. I think like the Colts for me I like at -130 money line. Packers are -200 money line over the Rams. I just don't buy it. I don't really want to buy Rams plus points though. We got TH coming through here just 10 minutes before the buzzer. Start 2, T. Higgins, Chuba Hubbard, Terry McLaurin. I will start Higgins and McLaurin. I'm going to sit Chuba down.
Okay.
Agree or disagree?
Yep, I agree with that.
Cool.
Okay, I've got Joe Burrow over 225, Josh Allen over 225, Gabe Davis over 50 yards, Higgins over 40, Jamar over 70, Jamar over reception 7.5, Diggs over 7.5 receptions, and Diggs over 70 as well. Wow. Plus $12.50, $25 gives you $340.
Okay.
Going big.
I might just explore like Packers plus 7.5 or something ridiculous.
You're a sucker for just losing money.
There's no way they lose to the Rams. There's just no way.
All right, guys. Well, good luck this week. We're all caught up on our questions here. Thank you for coming in. Those of you who are still sticking around watching us bet on football, lose money on football. So we can sign off. And if you have any questions, you can join our Discord. You can comment on any of our videos. I respond to every single comment as normal. And good luck this week, everyone.
Yeah, best of luck. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.